he said, because he remembered the story in the Gemara. He fainted. What was the story in the Gemara? Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, you remember, sneaked out of Jerusalem in the year 70. It was besieged by Vespasian, the Roman general. He had to sneak out in a coffin, feign that he was dead, because the zealots would not let any Jew negotiate with the Romans. And he met Vespasian, he called him a king, and he said, I'm not the emperor, I'm the general. And he said, you'll soon be the emperor. And Vespasian, Aspasianus, turned to Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, and what did he say? Imalkana, amai lai hashta, amai lai osis legabai ad hashta. If I'm a king, why did you not come till today? If I'm a king, wo bist du gewesen? Where were you? So Gemara in Gittin, page 56. Rabbi Yochanan said, they didn't let me leave Jerusalem. I would have come. So he said, when I said Hamelech, I remembered what Vespasian told Rabbi Yochanan. Imalkana, where were you? Wo bist du gewesen behind? So I fainted. Rabbi Aaron Karlin, Rabbi Aaron Hagadol, Rabbi Aaron of Karlin. Why is this such a powerful, or not powerful, the most dominant point in the tefillos of Rosh Hashanah? Because this is the core of Rosh Hashanah. Binyan HaMalchus. Shetamlichuni Aleichem. The day in which the Jew as an individual and the Jewish people collectively coronate Hashem as the king of the world. In fact, it goes back to the first Rosh Hashanah. Adam and Chava were created on Friday, the first Rosh Hashanah. This is the anniversary. Rosh Hashanah is the anniversary of their creation. On the sixth day of creation. Creation was on the 25th of Elul. They were created on the sixth day Rosh Hashanah. Zeh hayom tchilas ma'asecha zikaron liyom rishon. We say in the Musaf, what did Adam do right when he was created? So the Medrash tells us in Pirkei de Rebbe Lezer, he gathered all of the living organisms on the planet. That means every reptile, every insect, every mammal, every fish, every bird. And together he said, as we say in the L'chunei Ranana, Bayu v'nichra v'nivracha l'fnei Hashem ha'yiseinu. Let us come and kneel and bow down before God who created us. That was the first Rosh Hashanah, and that's repeated on Rosh Hashanah, the day of coronation, Koronationacht. Are these two themes of Rosh Hashanah connected? Are they intertwined? Because at first glance, when we think about it, they seem very different, and not only different, but even paradoxical. And let's think about this in terms of human relationships, and I'm going to illustrate, it's not a perfect metaphor, but I think it will give us a taste into the paradox. You know, we're not used to today, we're not accustomed to the concept of monarchies and kings. Even those countries, even the Brits who have a queen, but it's more ceremonial than substantial. It's good for tourism and the Buckingham Palace. It's good for tradition. Some of the British are very proud of it. I don't mean, God forbid, to underestimate the value of the queen, but it's not the monarchy of yore. The monarchy of old had real power, not just real power, absolute power. Some of them were benevolent dictators, some of them were lunatics, some of them were vicious and evil. Sometimes you had a real, true, genuine, selfless leader, unfortunately very rare. So we in the West are pretty allergic to monarchies. And even those places where there are still kings and queens, it's more of a ceremony versus a contradiction to democracy. Certainly here in the United States of America, we're proud of the fact that every 4 years we are capable of sending our president to retirement. It's part of what the West glorifies about democracy, where the people, for the people, by the people rule, and they have the power of electing the president every 4 years, as we shall do again in the year 2020. So now I want you to imagine the scene. Even with a president who was elected by the people in a democratic election and who 4 years later might leave, even that, the president comes out to the inauguration. Now is the inauguration address. The people are galvanized. There is an energy. There is a spirit, especially if the people love the president, especially if it's a president who's worthy of being a genuine leader of the Western world and a leader of the blessed country, the United States of America. And a little Alta Yidele schleps up to the stage and says, Mr. President, on my block, there's a pothole. There's a pothole. And every day I trip. Would you please, if you're my new president, would you please take responsibility and fix the pothole? You're laughing because there's something off. But why? Is he not right? If you're the president, you're responsible. You don't want to come yourself to fix it? I don't care if you delegate it. But it's your responsibility. But we all know that there's something off about this. Why? Come back tomorrow. This is not the time, this is not the space. At this point, there is a different energy. The energy that we focus on now is not my own personal needs, even if they're important. Potholes are very important, extremely important. Tomorrow, yes. But today, what's the focus? The focus is the leader, the country, the spirit, the Geist, the unity, the new era, the vision. It's a moment of personal surrender and submission where the national identity of a nation is experienced, embodied in the presence of its elected leader. The day of coronation in times of yore was a very intense day. And let's assume for a moment it wasn't a dictator, it was really a beloved king or a chosen king. And hundreds of thousands or millions of subjects come together and they take the trumpets, as Rabbi Sadi Gaon says, and declare, long live the king. And somebody schleps up and says, I need somebody to help me sustain my business. Let's hope he comes out over there in one piece. Not because your needs are not important, and not because the king is not responsible, and not because the leader shouldn't be taking care of every individual's needs, either himself or herself or through the natural mechanisms that every society builds in order to create a system that allows for people to be able to function and survive and thrive. It's important, but you're suddenly disconnected from what's going on. And therefore, the two themes of Rosh Hashanah coming together in one day seems somewhat enigmatic. Because if the focus of the day is me, I get that. I come to Hashem, I say, listen, this is what I need, this is what I'm missing, this is what I need change, this is what I want to ask you for, this is what I need help, this is what I need assistance. Every person in their own life that every person knows individually, materially, spiritually, emotionally, as we said before. That's one focus. That's what God can do for me. The day of coronation is a very different type of day. The day of coronation is the day when we all come together and our individuality melts in the surrender and the submission and the acceptance and the focus on Kabbalas HaMalchus, accepting the King. Which is Rosh Hashanah? What is Rosh Hashanah? Is Rosh Hashanah about me, or is Rosh Hashanah about God? Chana walks in on Rosh Hashanah to the Mishkan. Eli was not stupid. Eli was not insensitive. Eli was not clueless. Eli was a profound person. Eli looks at Chana and he watches her davening. He doesn't know what she's asking for, but he knows that something is bothering her very deeply. And she's talking to God about it. And Eli waits. He knows that Chana did not drink, 2 bottles of French wine before she came here, or a bottle of 96% alcohol, Zexanine. He knows that. He waits. He doesn't interrupt her. But when she finishes, he tells her profound words. Ad Mosai tishtakarin, vayachsheve Eli l'shikoira. You see, there are 2 types of intoxication in the world. There's intoxication I drink. I get inebriated. I get drunk. Some of you have seen it firsthand, what it looks like when people get drunk. You know what it's like. But shikras represents something. Eli says to Chana, you're drunk. I know you're not drunk on wine. I know you're not drunk on alcohol. You're drunk on something else. You're drunk on yourself. You're drunk on yourself. You're drunk on your own needs. Eli, who is a profoundly spiritual person, because he is the Kohen Gadol, is challenging Chana in a very profound way. Is it possible that for you all religion is ultimately about yourself? Is it possible that for you God only means one thing? You translated your own needs and you project them on God. Meaning, what's my relationship with Hashem about? Very simple. If you know that your boss has access to all the money and all the happiness in the world, you worship the boss. That's what it is. Who am I worshiping? I'm worshiping me. I'm worshiping me. God, somehow I was taught, and I believe it, that Liyah Kesef, Eliyazov, I got the silver, I got the gold, I got the dough, I got the cash, I got the life, I got the health, I got the kids. You want it? You be good with me. You're good with me, I'm good with you. Eli said, that's your Yiddishkeit. That's a drunkard's Judaism. You're drunk on yourself. Ask not what God can do for you. Maybe it's time to ask what you can do for God. Stop telling God how great your problems are. Maybe it's time to tell your problems how great God is. It's Rosh Hashanah after all. It's a day of coronation. You walk in and all you're talking about is yourself. Your needs, your pain, your agony. Not some telling you your pain doesn't exist and your agony doesn't exist. Is there any relationship with Hashem that transcends you? Is it always about finding yourself in God? Or are you capable of losing yourself in truth? Is there a Judaism that doesn't begin with you and end with you, but actually asks not what truth can do for me, but how I can be here for truth? Or maybe doesn't ask what I need, but asks what I'm needed for. Eli says, I don't know where you learned this, but I want to teach you about something else. I want to teach you about a more authentic Judaism. It doesn't begin and end with you. It's not, I need. What are you needed for? Ask, what are you needed for? He turns to Chana and he says, Chanala, Admasai tishtakarin, hasiri esyenech me'alaychi. I want you to understand that sometimes intoxication can look very spiritual, but it's still drunk. I'm learning Torah because I want a comfortable seat in Olam Haba. I'm doing mitzvahs because I want reward. I'm steiging away because I want to become great. For a moment, I don't have the ability to graduate from my fahakta ego. Everything is me. My perfection, my glory, my honor, my spirituality, my olam haba, my reward, my happiness, my success, my wealth, my nachas. Eli says, feh, a bissel edelkeit, a little transcendence. What about truth? I want to hear elikus, I want to hear godliness, I don't want to hear you. We have an expression in Gemara called gasus haruach. What's gasus haruach? Usually arrogance. Balatanya says gasus haruach is much deeper. It's ruchnius, but it's gas. Gas means dense, thick. There is spirituality, ruach, but it's gas. It's thick, it's dense, it's grub, it's brute. Spirituality can also be brute. Religion can also be brute. The ego doesn't only exist in Washington and Hollywood and Wall Street. The ego sometimes can exist in very holy places. And there it's sometimes more dangerous because it's camouflaged by religion. It's camouflaged by holiness. But sometimes those egos could be, my God, more powerful than any ego in the world because the ego justifies itself with God. But what does it do? It uses God, it exploits God and manipulates religion just for me, whatever that me is. Eli was saying something very, very profound, very authentic, very real. It's what every deep soul often senses. Because the soul yearns for truth, not only for self-aggrandizement. The real soul, the depth of the soul, yearns for real truth. It's sensitive to real truth, to real infinity. And real truth, by definition, must transcend me. If it's truth, it transcends me. I'm an aspect of truth. I can't reduce truth to me. The foundation of Genesis is man was created in God's image. God was not created in man's image. But can't religion sometimes be a God that is created in man's image? I basically need God. I need a source. So God becomes the God that I created in my image, the one who could be that endless bank account, that credit card swiping service. The advantage is there's always money in the credit card. The advantage is the machine is always open 24 hours a day. The advantage is you don't have to schlep to the ATM machine. Great advantages, but the common denominator is the same. I look to God because I ask, what can you do for me? You know the woman who said she stopped dating because after many days she met a guy and for 3 hours he was talking about himself. After 3 hours, he turns to her and he says, it's enough of me talking about me. Let me hear, what do you have to say about me? Right? So there is narcissism, and then there's narcissism that's camouflaged by having you feed my narcissism. But it's all the same narcissism. There's also something called spiritual narcissism, religious narcissism. Eli is challenging Hannah with a very profound message. At the end of the day, what is Yiddishkeit? At the end of the day, what is truth? At the end of the day, I tell you, ask not what truth can do for you. For one moment, can you transcend self-consciousness and allow yourself to become a conduit for truth, rather than the one who contains it and defines it and molds it. But Hannah understood what Eli was saying. That's why Hannah doesn't look at Eli and say, you go back to coaching, go back to school, and let somebody teach you how to be a little empathetic, Eli. She doesn't say that. Hannah understood what Eli said. And Hannah said, Eli, you're 100% right. And now let me explain to you why you're 100% wrong. And his words to Eli are, Loi, no. Isha kshas ruach anoichi. I'm not drunk. I'm a woman who's struggling. And then she gives her key message, Ve'eshpoich es nafshi lifnei Hashem. I poured out my soul towards God. I'm not drunk. I did not drink wine or alcohol, talking even about spiritual wine and alcohol. I am not drunk on myself. I am not drunk on my ego. I know about coronation. I know what bittul is. I know what oneness is. but you still made a mistake. And Eli gets it. How do we know he gets it? He doesn't say, oh, come on, you're drunk. He doesn't do that. He says, God will do exactly what you want. And that's it. And she goes and she has a baby. She has Shmuel Hanavi. What just happened? Like, if he really thought she was drunk, he was convinced, every drunkard tells you they're not drunk. Ask them. Your husband comes home Shabbos afternoon. What do you say? Did you drink again? And what does he say? Yeah. No, I'm fine. 2 minutes later, he's asleep on the couch. Present company excluded. Every drunkard tells you, they all say, I could drive. I could drive. Sure, they go into a car, go in a straight line. They start going in a straight line. Just the definition of straight is the speed of light. And pretty crooked. It's a different definition of straight. Chana says, I'm not drunk. Eli says, okay. It was a conversation of a higher caliber, of a much deeper level. What did Chana tell Eli? Chana didn't reject what Eli said. Chana took it a step deeper. And Chana revealed to us the essence of Rosh Hashanah. In fact, the Gemara tells us in Tractate Brachas, page 31, that most of the laws of davening we learn from the prayer of Chana, which is fascinating. Because many people prayed before Chana. Chana lived hundreds of years after the Jews entered into Eretz Yisrael. Moshe prays many times. Avraham prays. Yitzchak prays. Rivka prays. Yaakov prays. A lot of people pray in the Chumash. Lots of people. And of course, every one is a tremendous lesson. But the Gemara says, Hilchas Rabvasa, the main halachas of Tefillah you learn from Chana, this story, how she davened. Including that you're not allowed to be drunk. Including that you're not allowed to daven when you're drunk. Also learned from this story. A person who's inebriated is not allowed to daven. You're not allowed to stand before the king when you're inebriated, which is why Eli got so upset. You're davening and you're in the Mishkan. Even in your house, you're not allowed to daven when you're drunk. Even in a shul, you're not allowed to daven when you're drunk. That's why he got so upset. Something about Tfilas Chana that taught the Jewish people forever something about prayer, something about davening, and something about the essence of Rosh Hashanah. And what Chana told Eli, and Eli did not understand this on his own, not because he wasn't a spiritual person, but because he was a spiritual person. Eli was a Kohen. Eli was a Kohen Gadol. A Kohen, by definition, is segregated. He's aloof. Especially a Kohen Gadol is not allowed to leave Jerusalem. He's not allowed to leave. He sits in the Beis HaMikdash all day, the Kohen Gadol. A Kohen not, regular Kohen not. Kohen had his shift and he can go home. Kohen Gadol sat all day in the Beis HaMikdash. At night he went home. Kohen Gadol couldn't get himself tummy even for the closest family members. A Kohen, yes. Besides a Meis Mitzvah. If somebody died and there was nobody to take care, even a Kohen Gadol in the Holy of Holies had to go out and take care. Of Meis Mitzvah, he wasn't in the Holy of Holies, but a Kohen Gadol, if he sees somebody dead and there's nobody to take care, he has to become impure. If he's in the Holy of Holies and somebody's life is in danger, he has to leave and go save a life. But generally speaking, a Kohen Gadol is, within aloofness, he is aloof. So his spirituality was extremely profound. His sensitivity to transcendence was profoundly acute. But Chana taught us yet one deeper dimension, which changes everything and gives us a glimpse into what Rosh Hashanah is, which is why her story is read every year in Rosh Hashanah. And what Chana was telling Eli is, when I went into the Mishkan and I prayed, I asked Hashem to bless me with a child, I was not focusing on myself versus God. This was not a situation where you turn to me and say, Chanala, you're in pain. Chana, you have challenges. Chana, you have difficulties. But I ask you, Chana, once a year on Rosh Hashanah, ask not what God can do for you. Ask what you can do for God. Once a year, ask what you're needed for. That's what Eli is saying. And Chana is telling Eli, Ve'eshboich es nafshi lifnei Hashem. What you just experienced was what we call hishtapchus hanefesh. My whole soul was poured out to God. This was an expression of the deepest, intimate relationship I have with Hashem. Why? And the answer for that is the Medrash tells us something fascinating. Nis'ave HaKadosh Baruch Hu liyis lo idira b'tachtonim. The purpose of creation was that God wanted a dwelling place, a home, in the lowest element of reality. So when a Jew davens on Rosh Hashanah, Meloich ala olam kulei b'chveidecha, I'm asking that you rule. You become the king over the whole world. When a Jew prays on Rosh Hashanah, V'yeda kol pol kiyata pe'alta v'yavin kol yitzur kiyata yitzarte. Hashem Elokei Yisrael melech u'malchusay ba'kol mashallah. When a Jew is asking for that, it's not a contradiction to the Jew saying, I want health, I want wealth, I want security, I want my child to be healthy, mentally, physically, emotionally. I want a child, as Chana, I want a child. She wasn't even asking for health, she was asking for a child. She didn't have a child, she was infertile. That's not a Jew asking for herself or himself, drunk in their own needs, material, emotional, psychological, or spiritual. It's part of my dveikus. It's part of my intimacy with oneness. Because who am I? And what is my life about? Who am I? My soul was sent down to the world to transform the world into a dwelling place for the divine. My soul was sent into the world to reveal infinity into the world. My soul was sent down into the world in order to revolutionize the landscape of my body, my environment, my home, my family, and the world around me into a place where the divine presence dwells. Me having a beautiful home, me having beautiful children, me being healthy, alive, successful, physically, financially, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. For the Jew is not selfish, self-oriented, crude, brute, lowly. Chana says, no, Hashem. It's ultimately to allow the divine will and the divine objective and purpose of creation to be fulfilled. I am a reflection of divinity in this world. I am a ray of infinity. Shluchai shel Adam k'moisai. I am Hashem's shliach in the world. A shliach represents the one who sent him. I am a manifestation of the light of God in this world. For the light to be able to dwell and to emerge, my power, my success, my blessings, my health, my prosperity is not divorced from spiritual transcendence. It's hainu hach mamish. It is mamish, that thing. It's the same thing. Because it depends how you define who you are and what your needs are. When I get up to daven and I say, I need chachma, bina, das. I need health, I need money, I need this, I need that, I want this, I want that. Everybody knows what they ask for, what they want to ask for. You could look at it in two ways. You could say, I just care about myself, and this is what's bothering me, and this is what I want. And yes, all I need is you should be in tune to me. That's what God is for me. But Chana is saying, no, Eli, you're completely misreading me. My needs are Hashem's needs. Because Hashem's needs are my needs. Because I am a chelek Eloka mimal. I am part of Hashem. When I'm sick, you know who's sick? God's presence in the world is sick. When I'm depressed, when I'm broken, you know who's broken? Hashem's light in the world is broken. When you're davening for yourself, who are you really? You have to know who you are. You're not just a piece of physical, crude, random matter. That's not who you are. You are the fusion of heaven and earth. You're the manifestation of the Shekhinah in this world. Not in an arrogant way, in the most humble way, because when you understand this, there's no arrogance, there's deep humility. Each one of my children, I don't own my child. Nobody owns their child. That's the story of the Akedah, which is also read on Rosh Hashanah. Nobody owns their children. Who are your children? Your children are God's gifts that He gave to you, His diamonds, His divine diamonds, that He allowed you to polish and nurture and develop. It's the depth. It's not said explicitly. Sometimes I look at my child, what he does or he doesn't do, and I take it very personal. And it doesn't allow me to be there for my child. Because it's about personal. It's like, how can you do this to me? And how can he do this to me? And how can she do this to me? And how can he walk out of the house like this and do this to me? And I did this. It's not personal. It's Hashem's child. You're Hashem's shliach to be able to take care of the child. Ask at the moment, what's the best thing? What does God want from you right now to do for this child? That's the best question you can ask. And then you can actually be there for your child. When it's like, I can't believe this. I stayed up nights for this kid. I once heard a father speak to his teenage daughter. She asked for a couple of dollars. He said, when you pay me back the $500,000 that I invested in you from the day you're born, then you could come ask for more money. So it often becomes, but even those of us who don't speak that way, often internally, you become angry at your child. It's very personal. Well, you're my daughter. If it's somebody else's daughter, it's your problem, but my daughter. It's not your daughter, it's God's daughter. You're part of Hashem. Hashem gave this soul to you, and you're on a shlichus. And the question is, what does Hashem want from you right now to do for this child? Don't take it personal. It's not about my nachas and my ego and my reputation and his reputation and this one. It's very, very deep. Realize what's happening here. I don't own anything. I am the manifestation of the divine in the world. Just every person. Chayav Adam Loimar b'shvili nivra ha'olam. A Jew asks for money. A Jew needs help. You need a new cleaning lady. Your cleaning lady quit 2 days before Rosh Hashanah. So Eli says, come on, it's Rosh Hashanah. Stop thinking about your cleaning lady. Can't you think about God? Chana says, no, that's the masculine way of thinking. We're going to teach you the feminine way of thinking now. Chana is going to say, by you there's right brain, left brain. Left brain, cleaning lady God, heaven, earth. Which one is it? Chana says, no. Eli, you're living in a world of duality. You're living in heaven. I don't live in a world of duality. My soul is poured out. My soul is one with Hashem. You know why I need a cleaning lady? You know why I really need a cleaning lady? Anybody? My wife also knows. I need a cleaning lady so my wife will be happy. That's why I need a cleaning lady. Question is, why does my wife need a cleaning lady? So you'll say, what do you mean? Because sometimes people feel guilty. Chana says, no. Because your house is a Beis HaMikdash. The Beis HaMikdash has to be beautiful. The Beis HaMikdash has to be clean. The Beis HaMikdash has to be organized. And because your serenity is divine serenity. When you're in a state of simcha and light, godliness fills your home. Godliness fills the world. When you're anxious and depressed and angry and obsessed and full of guilt and misery, especially in the month of Tishrei, which many people think is the mitzvah of the month. It's not about you. It's God's misery. Who are you? You're much smaller than you think, but you're much bigger than you think. And when you realize that you're much smaller than you think, you could become much bigger than you think. There's an expression in one of it that says, as a mensch, it says, der Alter Rebbe hat bewiesen, wie klein ein Mensch ist und wie größer kann sich der Heben. Torah teaches you how small you are and therefore how great you can become. When I realize who I am, I'm a conduit for the divine. I don't take myself seriously. but I take Hashem very seriously. So you don't have to feel guilty that you're asking for your needs. What are your real needs? What are your real needs? They may seem very physical. What's really behind them? You know what's behind them? That Hashem should be able to be the king of the world. Ein od milvadai. And Chana says to Shmuel, I asked for a child, not so I should be able to sit on the couch and say, oh, I also have a kid. Penina has 10 and I have 1. And I should be able to go out to the coffee shops in Muncie with a carriage and not feel uncomfortable because I'm the only one without a carriage. All the women, all the mothers are talking about the children in school and carriages. And I'm the only one who can't. So I want to be able to fit in, which is very normal. Chana says, you know what I told Hashem when I asked for a child? I said, I want a child and dedicate him to you for the rest of his life. That's what I asked for. That's his name, Shmuel. So basically what Chana is telling, was telling Shmuel, was telling Eli. She said, I asked from Hashem, she says, V'nasata la'moscha zera anoshim. So the Gemara says, what does zera anoshim mean? The Medrash says, zera anoshim means, I'm not just asking for a child. I'm asking for anoshim, a child who's going to be like Moshe and Aaron, Chachamim, Nevoinim, Gdoilim, Tzadikim, Shehem, L'shmoi Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Comes the Baal Shem Tov and says, the Pasuk says in Tehillim, Kapitel Kuf Zayin, many say it on Friday, Re'evim gam tzmeim, nafsham bahem tis'ataf. What does this mean? People are hungry and thirsty. Their soul is begging for food. Says the Baal Shem Tov, no. Re'evim, you're hungry. Tzmeim, you're thirsty. You know why? Nafsham bahem tis'ataf. Your soul wants to sublimate the sparks of godliness in this food. That's why your body is telling you that you're hungry. If you look at yourself from a superficial point of view, you just say, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty. Why am I hungry? Why am I thirsty? Says the Baal Shem Tov, Nafsham behem tesatov. Your soul wants to connect. Your body may not know that language. So your body says, I'm hungry. Your body says, I'm thirsty. Your body is a mouthpiece for your soul. Listen to your body. The body holds the score. What's the expression? The body keeps the score. The body said, I'm hungry. You know why the body said, I'm hungry? Because the neshama sent out a biochemical signal. There's good divine sparks over there. There's netzutzah. I'm hungry. Lunch, lunch, lunch. You could divorce it. You say, no, I'm just a gluttonous fresser. Ich bin a behema. Actually worse, because behemoths eat what they have to. No, nafshem bem tesatov. Your body and your soul work together.
What divine sparks are there in food?
In every physical thing in the world, there is divine energy. That's the only way it lives. The reason we gravitate, why do we have to eat and drink? God, you never wondered. So now I'll teach it to you. Huh?
I'm not someone who likes to eat.
But you do eat something, right? I assume, no? Epis, once in a few days. So what's the reason? Why did Hashem make that an organism, like a human organism, should desperately need food? It's like embarrassing. And what a waste of time. Sleep, eat, drink. It's like, who needs it? You know, he could have made a few chemicals a little different. That would be good to go. You know, a camel goes for weeks and months in the desert without food. That's why it has a hump. God could have made me with a hump too. And then the fat dissolves, and you don't need, you're dehydrated for weeks. Or no food and drinks. Moshe on the mountain. The answer is, I need the food, but the food also needs me. There's sparks of divinity in the money I earn, in the food I have contact with, every closet of my home. Why did you end up in your home in this place and you ended up in your home? It's not a mistake. Your soul has a GPS, an internal compass. It's called GPS, God's positioning system. The original ways. May Hashem itzadei gever kainanu v'darkei yachpatz. And it guides you to the place you have to be, to the home you belong in, to the money that has to come to you, to the food and drinks that belong to your body. Some things I'm allergic to. It's not for my body. Those sparks are not relevant to me. To the people in my life, to the individuals in my community, in my family, my extended family. This is my shlichus. This is my corner in the world. The money that I earn are the money that have the sparks of godliness through which I'm going to reveal Hashem in this world. The food as well, the drink as well, the clothes as well. Person is asking for Hashem, I need enough money to buy a new outfit. Eli says, you're drunk? Rosh Hashanah? Outfits? Really? Eli has a point, but Chana has a deeper point. Chana says, you don't understand. The beauty of a person is the beauty of Hashem in the world. It's not narcissism, haughtiness, superficiality. It's not an abomination. It's not grotesque. It's not material repulsiveness. You could make it that way, but that's not Yiddishkeit. Chana says, of course I'm asking for a child. This child will light up the world. I want to be able to fulfill my mission. So every Rosh Hashanah, a Jew stands up, and it's the day of coronation. So the Eli in every Jewish soul, the deep spirituality of a neshama says, don't be drunk. Ask not what God can do for you, ask what you can do for God. That's what Eli says Rosh Hashanah. And then Chana responds to Eli. Every soul has an Eli and every soul has a Chana. The husband and the wife. Not really. It's the Kohen Gadol and it's the mother of Shmuel Hanavi. It's two parts of the brain. It's two parts of the neshama. Eli says something that we have to understand. Because it's so true, religion can become hedonistic. Religion can become so brute, so dense, so not authentic, so selfish. All of God can be reduced to a piece of kugel in Olam Haba. All of God can be reduced to a shtender in Olam Haba. For one person it's a piece of kugel, for another person it's a shtender. So my kugel doesn't look like kugel, it looks like a shtender. But that's what it is. Eli says, fair. People are disgusted. They want elikus. People want emes, genukshan. The whole Yiddishkeit is me, perfect. Me getting another schus, another checklist. God's going to like me more. I'm going to get more from the bank. Talk about truth. Stop talking about yourself. So powerful to hear those words from Eli. So real. And then Chana says, Eli, you're right. But let me explain to you something even deeper. In real Yiddishkeit, the Gashmi and the Ruchni are one. The Jew asking for physical, material needs, small things or big things, gigantic things or small things, are not divorced from his oneness or her oneness with Hashem. On the contrary, if I'm really one with Hashem, who am I? Me and every aspect of my life are tools for the purpose of creation to be fulfilled, for the light of Hashem to emerge through me. And even a Jew who gets up on Rosh Hashanah and says, you know what? I don't know what you're talking about, Rabbi YY. I just need money. I like big homes, and I like vacations, and I like nice clothes. I couldn't care less about anything else. I don't. These are my needs, yeah. I want my children to be adjusted and balanced and healthy because they're my kids. Because they're my kids. I'm biological, yeah. A mother lioness fights for her kids and I fight for my cubs. It's my cubs, yes. Comes the Baal Shem Tov and says, that's fine. That's fine. Your body is saying, I'm hungry. I need this, I want that. But your soul is telling your body, go here, get this, because you have a mission here, because you have a shlichus here, because you have a purpose here. If you look at every Jewish community in the world, you'll see there's two parts of Rosh Hashanah. There's the time we say, Maloi chala olam kuloi b'chveidecha. Some people get very emotional, but not many. You know when almost everybody gets emotional? Nesana Toikef. Everybody is like, you can hear the silence in the shul. If you look at it superficially, you can explain it very simply. Doesn't talk to me. Become the king, fine. Mazel tov God. Should be with Hatzlacha. Should be the president for the next year. And have it easier than Trump. Okay. Doesn't talk to me. When you start telling me, mi yamus, mi ba'esh, suddenly all the images come through everybody's mind. And I know a lot of people, they have a fertile imagination. And some of you are pessimistic. And there's mothers' worries and anxiety, especially living in New York. And so on and so forth. And everybody gets very, very emotional. Everybody's heart is stirred. But that's a very superficial explanation. There's a much deeper explanation. What was Hashem's deepest craving in creating the world? His deepest craving in creating the world was to be able to have a dir b'tachtonim, that the physical world should become sacred, that the world should be transformed into a divine abode. The pnimiyus haneshama, the core of the Jewish soul, feels that and senses that. And therefore when the Jew asks for physical life, for physical health, for physical hatzlacha, for longevity, for him, her, their children, their grandchildren, their family, their loved ones, their friends, all people that are connected to them, to be alive, to be happy, to be healthy in the physical world. You could look at it as selfish, but Chana says it's anything but that. It's really the deepest soul of the Jew that is completely one with God, who wants to fulfill the purpose of Hashem in this world and knows that its entire identity is a conduit, a reflection of Hashem's light in this world. My life, my success, my happiness, my health, your success, your happiness, your health, your nachas, your prosperity, your physical, mental, psychological, emotional health, together with all of your loved ones that you're going to pray for on Rosh Hashanah and the subsequent days, what is it that you're davening for? Don't look at it as you're just davening for what's going to make you happy. That's a very narrow perspective on who you are. You're davening for the whole purpose of creation to be able to be fulfilled through those that God designated to be able to fulfill this purpose during their time, in their space, in the circumstances where He put you there. This is essentially the deepest core of the Jewish soul, that I am here as a representative of Hashem in this world, so your success and your needs in this world is the ultimate divine need and divine purpose and divine desire, because you're not separate, you're one. The heart is stirred by Unasana Toikef, not because we're lowly, not because we don't care about Malchus Shamayim, about God's kingship. I care about my body. But there's really something much deeper. It's because my body, your child's life, like Hannah's child's life, your physical life, what is it? In its deepest sense, in its truest reality, what is it? It's the godly light in this world. That's what you're connecting with. That's what you're asking for. That's what you're protecting. Eli heard these words. And Eli told Hannah, yeah, Lech l'shalom, go in peace, because God fulfilled your request. She goes home. She has a child. Eli embraced her words. Eli heard what she said. That even when a Jew stands up and all she's asking for seems to be inconsequential in the big picture, even the Jew herself may admit, all I could do is think about me, nothing else. I'm just happy to talk to God because I believe that He's the right address. Comes Chana and says, I want you to know that the body can scream, I'm hungry for food. And really the body is just saying, your neshama wants to connect to truth. Don't underestimate your sacredness. Don't underestimate your greatness. Don't underestimate your sanctity. And don't underestimate the divine value in every aspect of your life. It's not, I want to be big. I want to have the hatzlacha. I may be immature and interpret it that way. Okay, so I need to learn a little bit. I need to grow up a little bit. Fine, I need to recover from my intoxication. But from a perspective of truth, what's happening is, I need Hashem's light to fill the world. I need the truth to fill the world. I need the Geula to fill the world. I need Mashiach to come to the world. That's what I need. That's what I'm asking for. It's an oizgus, it's an expression of the pnimiyus hanefesh, which standing right before God, as we say in the Yeshainis, chavuku dvuka bach yechida leyachtach. It's one with you. In its world is only oneness. When Eli hears this, he says, God should fulfill your request. It's read on Rosh Hashanah to teach a Jew that the two elements of Rosh Hashanah are not opposites. They're actually exactly the same. When you look at it superficially, talking about God, you're talking about you. Stop talking about you. Talk about the King. Which is it? Come on. After Rosh Hashanah, let's make a day our needs. Rosh Hashanah should be God's needs. But that's all from a perspective of duality. From the perspective of unity, it's the same thing. Rosh Hashanah is the day of Yom Hadin, the day of judgment, where I speak about my needs, my prayers, my life, my resources, my energy, my deepest pain, my deepest anxiety. It's the same thing like coronating God as the King. Because who are you? Who am I? And what are all of our needs? And what are all of our blessings? But the ultimate manifestation of ultimate truth and ultimate oneness in our world. Have a wonderful Yom Tov, a wonderful year, a good gebencht Jahr, Shana Tova Sukkah, in Bana, Chaya, Mezoyne, Revichi. Thank you. Not that I know of. At the end, yes.
At the end, but not your...
Not that I know of. I mean, he wore glasses for reading later years. You're welcome, thank you.
Good job, thank you so much. I want to be able to call my son with Chaim Shem in Denver and tell him I saw you live.
Gewaldig.
He's looking so good.
Okay, it's Hashem Sunday.
Yes, send him my
You should come visit.
I know. But it's...
We
have in Denver?
Yes.
You were?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good gebencht, ja. Thank you. Amen, Gamatem.
I have two questions. First of all, my friend Aviva Maris in Kinor, she wants to know how much to pay to sponsor for somebody. How much it costs.
For what?
How much it costs to sponsor, I think, a class.
Ask her if she can email. They'll write her back. Eh?
Okay. The second question is, I don't know if it's a good time to answer this question for me, but I listened to one of your classes about that we're all addicts, and I have a question about if we should discuss because I always thought we should talk to our boys and girls about their sexuality and everything, and somebody was just telling me that the rabbi said you shouldn't, and I want to know what your opinion is on that.
If you could send me an email, I did a radio show. I could send you a link.
Okay.
Send me an email, okay? Hatzlacha, gut Jahr. Gut gebencht Jahr, a gesunte Jahr. Okay. You're welcome. Hatzlacha, good Jahr. Ksiva v'achsema toiva. Kamatem. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
You could just send an email and say, subscribe me to the list. You have the email to send?
No, I'm going to look at one of your brochures that you send.
Yeah, your husband, I think. Your Pfefferkorn. Your husband emailed me, so just ask him. Just write subscribe. Subscribe to the schedule. A good year, a good gebencht year, hatzlacha. Gamatum. Thank you. You're welcome. 2 in 1 week, not bad. Gamatum.
You spoke at the congregation-based Torah dinner.
Yeah.
And we would like, if possible, for you to speak at a scholar in residence by
Okay, if you could just send an email.
Okay.
Okay, please.
To you?
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of hatzlacha. Yeah.
Okay.
Not a problem. My pleasure. You're welcome.
Why do you make me cry every time I listen to you?
Okay.
I'm not against you.
Hatzlacha. Good gebencht year.
Kamata.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, my pleasure.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Very, very meaningful year for me.
Baruch